So Donald Trump did indeed deliver his remarks to a crowd, a small, a tepid crowd, a hooting and hollering crowd of white folks in Asheville, North Carolina. And all kinds of just insane ramblings took place. But there's only 3 moments that I want to talk about because this speech was marketed as, it was promoted as an economic policy speech. Now, with Donald Trump, you would never expect him to get wonky, to talk about anything at any granular level, to really get down into the weeds about policy, because he is an abject fucking moron. He doesn't know inflation from deflation to a box of Tic Tacs in his pocket, which we'll get to. And to illustrate this first clip is really him just kind of free associating and rambling about the economy. Many people are saying it's what they say is the most, but actually this is the most, and this is, it's just bananas that this, listen, how long have we had Donald Trump on the scene politically? 8, 9 years now? And still, I am shocked and dismayed, but shocked that this is where we are. That this is a man who Republicans want to lead the country. They want to be commander-in-chief, to be the chief executive of the nation, who has zero grasp of any complex concepts, especially economically. He uses his billionaire status, the multi-bankrupted idiot, as some kind of a badge of honor, like he has any understanding of anything. But really, when you listen to him and listen to what he says, don't get swept away in the rhythm of the nonsense. Listen to the words he's saying, because they make no sense whatsoever.
Now, this is a little bit different day because this isn't around. This is we're talking about a thing called the economy. They wanted to do a speech on the economy. A lot of people are very devastated by what's happened with inflation and all of the other things. So we're doing this as a intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. Today we're doing it, and we're doing it right now, and it's very important. They say it's the most important subject. I think crime is right there. I think the border is right there, personally. We have a lot of important subjects because our country has become a third world nation. We literally are a third world nation. We're a banana republic in so many ways, and we're not going to let that happen because we're starting a free fall. But from today and from the day I take the oath of office, we will rapidly drive prices down and make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable again.
And the crowd's there for it. They don't understand. I think they just want to be angry. That's really the only thing I can land on here, because none of the things that he says that he's going to continue to say, that none of them are true. I also love the little bit there about, you're going to be intellectuals here for a minute. It's insulting them, saying, you're not intellectuals. We know you're a bunch of unwashed hillbillies, but for now, you're going to be an intellectual. And they love it. They want to be showered in insults from the cult leader. Lies were a feature, not a bug, of this particular speech, like any other with Donald Trump. And here he says that the $35 insulin cap, he's taking full credit for this. And then we have the facts from Kaiser Family Foundation to read to you about exactly why what he's saying is not a distortion, but an absolute lie. Watch this.
We're going to deliver lower prices, lower drug costs, new options that will dramatically reduce the crushing burden of American patients. Kamala and Joe tried to take credit for $35 insulin. You know that. You know who did that? I did that. I did that. I did the insulin, and it kicked in. And you know, I remember when I did it, it had to be a statute. It was a certain statute that took a certain period of time. I said, I hope I'm elected because somebody's going to get a lot of credit for doing what I got done. I got it done, $35 insulin, and now they take credit for it. It's terrible, terrible. They take credit for a lot of things they shouldn't be taking credit for. You know, if they said congratulations, he did a good job on insulin. That would be nice. Nobody's going to go crazy about that. Congratulations, because insulin was impossible for people to afford. They were dying. They didn't get it. The expense was, I got it for $35. Nobody thinks it's like even possible. But they could say like, you did a great job, thank you very much. Or you did a good job. But instead, they say, we brought insulin in at $35. It's a lie.
Even the policy he says he enacted, he can't talk about with any specificity whatsoever. Don't worry, though. I'm here to clear that up. Here's from the Kaiser Family Foundation the facts about this $35 insulin copay cap in Medicare. This is what exactly did the Trump administration do. In 2020, the Trump administration established a voluntary time-limited model under the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Innovation, known as the Part D Senior Savings Model. Under this model, this time-limited model, meaning it's not indefinite, there was a time limit on it. Under this model, participating Medicare Part D prescription drug plans covered at least one, but maybe not, of each dose form and type of insulin product at no more than $35 per month. The model was in effect from 2021 to 2023, and less than half of all Part D plans chose to participate in each year. So it's no longer a thing after 2023. It sunsetted, as it were. And less than half participated when it was available. Now, what Joe Biden did is make this more wide-ranging and permanent. What the Biden administration did, in 2022, President Biden signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, which included a provision that requires all Part D plans, requires them, not less than half participated and it sunsetted, but requires all covered insulin products, and also limits cost sharing for insulin covered under Part B to $35 per month. Deductibles no longer apply to insulins under Part D or Part B. A lot of this stuff I don't understand because I don't participate in these kind of health plans. These provisions took effect in 2023, January 1 for Part D and July 1 for Part B. This is a Biden thing. I mean, look, here's a chart. If you're into charts, while I'm talking, we'll just throw this chart up. You can pause and take a look at it to give you a more visual understanding of exactly what was done under Trump and under Biden. Donald Trump is trying to take credit for something that Joe Biden put into place. He's now effectively campaigning on Democratic achievements. He's campaigning on something that Democrats accomplished and taking credit for it, something he was against, something he had the opportunity to put into place and did not. Inflation is another thing. I did a video earlier about Daniel Dale talking about Donald Trump rambling about inflation and saying that we've had the record inflation under Joe Biden, even though right now our inflation is less than 3%. It's exactly where economists say it should be to spur economic development and growth and keep interest rates down, which are now coming down. It has worked, the Inflation Reduction Act. And here he is, in a very classic Donald Trump way, talking about inflation, trying to educate the audience, I guess, by holding up Tic Tacs and saying that this is a great commercial for them. I'm sure they love Donald Trump repping their product. Watch this bizarre moment.
People go to the grocery store and they have less than half a deal. In fact, I had something here. I did have something I would show you. Wait a minute. I don't know if you've seen this. I used it once. Oh, I have it. I do have it. Look at this. Look at this. So this is Tic Tacs, right? I don't know if I like the company. I've never met. I have no idea. They're so lucky. Look at all the television. This is the greatest commercial they ever had. But that's what happened. This is inflation. This is Tic Tac. This is Tic Tac. This is inflation. This is what's happened. I just happened to have, somebody gave me this one today. I said, I think we'll put it up as an example of inflation. But you know what? Inflation is destroying our country. It's destroying our families.
How does that explain in any detail whatsoever, Donald Trump, you abject dumb f***? How does that explain inflation? When I was in the Marine Corps, I haven't eaten an MRE, thankfully, a meal ready to eat. I haven't eaten field rations, if you're a little older, an MRE in many, many years, thankfully. But in MREs, they used to have these little Tabasco bottles, little tiny Tabasco bottles that are like individual use. And that's what he has there in his hand, like a little individual use Tic Tac jar. And he holds it up against a regular Tic Tac container. And that's supposed to be illustrative of inflation. I mean, I think maybe if I bend my brain, I can come up with some understanding of what he's talking about, but then he never goes back to it. He never explains it. And the reason is because he doesn't know. He's a moron. And Republicans want him to be president again. They want him to be the chief advocate for the economy of the United States of America, even though we had nearly record unemployment under Donald Trump. Inflation started creeping up and into astronomical levels that he now acts like are still here, and they're not. This was an economic policy speech from Donald Trump. Listen, when you start to hear the in-depth policy prescriptions of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the campaign, you're going to hear details. You're going to hear actual mechanisms by which your life will be made better, made easier, because they're responsible adults who actually have functioning brains and they want to do the hard work of leadership, of governing. That's not what it is with Republicans. They just want power for power's sake. They want to end democracy so they can remain in power unchecked from the vote, unchecked from your will in the matter. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about this. Let's have a conversation in the comments below. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work if inflation hasn't gotten to you too much. And I know people are still recovering from the problems we've been facing. But if you're in a position to throw $2 a month away, please consider throwing it my way. Click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month. You can also go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Follow me on social media. That doesn't cost anything at all other than your mental health, I guess, and that's quite the cost. I am at Dollemore just about everywhere, and I would love to see you there. Anyway, I'll see you next time. I appreciate you very much. Be genuine. Take care of one another.